said that no matter what happened between us, no matter hell or high water, he would always be there to support me through school. And he was true to that promise. He helped me pay all the bills that scholarships, financial aid, and loans could not. Even as the state's investment into higher education went down and tuition went up, he remained true to his word. But his money was also short, and he decided to decline on his company health insurance plan to get a few extra dollars in his pocket every month. Between paying for our home, my education, and his health, he chose to make his health the last priority. In the next few months, he started coughing a lot, but every time I tell him to go see the doctor, he would tell me that it was probably just a cold and that he didn't have insurance anyway. What's the point? A few months later, he became too sick to work. By the point he finally went to the emergency room, the doctors diagnosed him with stage 3 cancer. That day, my world fell apart. The thought of him not living long enough to ever see me graduate was horrifying. I couldn't believe it, and I couldn't stop my tears that day. Even through all of that, unable to work, he stayed true to his word. He began liquidating all his possessions to pay for my education. When I told him to stop, he just looked at me and said not paying his bills means his credit goes down the tubes. Not paying for me means he denies his son an education. But in June, his health took an even worse turn. I spent weeks at his bedside trying to convince myself that this was not actually happening. I couldn't believe that he had put himself in this hospital bed for my sake. I kept telling him that I was so sorry for doing this. But every time I just kept apologizing, he would just look at me, he would kiss me on the forehead and tell me how proud he was of me. He told me to pursue a better life and to be a good person. And I promised him I would, but none of it seemed fair. What is the point of pursuing a better life if you can't help those who sacrifice to get you there? The reason I wanted to pursue an education was so that I could share the fruits of that labor with my parents. I remember when the doctor gave the order to remove his feeding tube. I wanted to tell him so much then. I held his hand close to me, but I couldn't find any words. All I could do was fall to the floor, crying while holding his hand. On July 13th, my father passed away, and my family was left in shambles. We already had no money. Now we lost a pillar of our family. And I watched my mother lose herself more and more every day. My father was her sole source of strength. I watched my brothers cry, wishing they'd had more time to become proper men in front of their dad. My father told me that night in December that no matter what happened, he would do everything in his ability to make my education possible. But I never thought he'd have to die for it. This is the cost that my family had to pay for my college education. And it's a cost that no one should ever have to pay. Maybe some of these legislators here don't realize the cost of a college education without the state support. I don't know what higher cost I could have paid. Education is something that should be attainable to all. Yeah. A good friend of mine once told me that one should pursue an education because it is the one sole thing in this world that no one can ever take from you. But that statement isn't completely true. It's not true for us because the legislators of Michigan, our public representatives, can't take our educations away from us. Their refusal to provide adequate funding to higher education forces Michigan's universities to raise tuition or to cut quality. We don't want to lower quality because we want our graduates to be capable. So what are we left with? Tuition goes up. And the higher tuition goes up, the harder it is for students like me to complete our degrees. And there are many students like me out there. They're right in front of me. In a state where the economy is faltering, we should never be short-sighted and remove higher education from our obligations. Instead, we should look towards the future and realize that the economy will never improve without the investment into higher education. And the goal of a college education are the hopes and dreams of our parents, our friends, our communities, ourselves, and this state. States that invest in higher education invest in the dreams of the people. Legislators of Michigan, we ask you today to honor the delayed payment and to increase your investment into higher education. Some of you argue that we must cut more. How can you expect better results that you are not willing to invest in? Some of you say that keeping investment stagnant is not a cut. That mentality ignores the realities of inflation and a changing world that our universities try to prepare us for. It forces the cost onto us. Some of them say that they should not honor the delayed payment at all. Tell us then, what is left? What is left of your input into higher education? You're talking about delayed money that was promised while our tuition skyrockets, and then about denying it altogether. Tell me what is left. I can tell you what is left. Nothing. No future for this state and no hope for tomorrow. To deny the fundamental hope of a better life through education to your citizens is to deny the American dream. We are asking the state legislature to restore the delayed payment, to increase their investment into higher education this year, to recognize that all of Michigan benefits when another student graduates. Pushing the cost on the students and families, and no one should ever have to pay the cost that I have.
I love you!
Another round for Muhammad. And also to Brandon White from the Student Association of Michigan for co-holding this together. And my name is Muhi. I'm from the University of Michigan Dearborn. I'm the student body president there. And thank you. And I want to talk about the impact of the state and local economy and what we bring to it. We need to have a concrete relationship with big businesses because we're all providing quality graduates to this economy. More so in specific to the automotive industry. And they have great research opportunities that are funded for, but our state budget cannot move on when we have this situation hanging around our necks. United we are one, and let's share that voice with the legislators here today. We must put an end to these ridiculous tuition hikes. Why does Michigan have the worst funding in its universities? Education should not be a death sentence. I'm so proud of all of you here today because this is our right to have an education, and we need to make the right decision for higher education. Different colors, but we're all one. Our alumni give back to Michigan, and Michigan needs to give back to us. Higher education is the future of this state, and we are the future of this economy. And I'll close by asking this. Our time is almost up, but where is the money? So please, show us the money.
Hi everybody, my name is Jordan